Good evening, poker fans. It's day 2 of the World Series of Poker main event, and my special guest tonight is the poker brat himself, Phil Hellmuth. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Phil.
Yeah, I feel great. Security wakes me up at 1:30 in the afternoon and says, "You're playing today." They broke into my room, and I'm like, "What? I'm playing today?" I didn't have any idea. I hadn't looked at any schedules. I assumed it was Tuesday. I told all my friends Tuesday. Told my wife Tuesday, and so now I just get dead out of bed and just fly out the door. And I run all the way to, run downstairs. I'm going literally 75 on these little side streets. It's just bad. It's dangerous. I got to be careful. And I'm running all the red lights and stuff. And boom, arrive here, and I have $6,925. And I'm like, okay, the reason I'm late is because I did Phil Gordon's Bad Beat for Cancer charity event. And I didn't bail out like 90% of the world would have done. I sat there and I did the seminar on 3 hours of sleep, just dead tired. And that's why I wanted to play Sunday. And I said, but sometimes when you do great things for charity and you live your life the right way, sometimes karma can give you a nice kick in the butt, upward, I mean. And so I kept thinking, from a karma point of view, maybe something great will happen today. And I just sat there and I ran the 7 into 12,000. I'm sitting on 12,000 for hours. The blinds are 3-6 and 4-8, and all the champions are coming by and looking at me and snickering, and you've got the internet kids behind me saying you should have moved all in with the 10s. Instead, I ran my chips up to 64,900 without ever being all in. Not one all in.
It's a very impressive start of it.
That's as good as I could play poker, so I'm just really pleased, and it's only day 2, but I feel like I'm chip leader, I'm so happy. It's like you'd think I have like 400,000.
I understand that you owe Mike Matiso a dinner, maybe, for getting the security guards to wake you up this morning?
I think my wife got the security guards to wake me up. I'm not sure that it was Matiso.
That's what he tweeted. He tweeted that he had called the security guards to wake you up.
He might have. I'll have to check in with him. It might have been Mike, but my wife said she called the security guards. But if it was Mike, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. I love Mike. He has a really good heart.
Any particular hands that you got involved in today that were really interesting?
It was very interesting. I raised with 2 10s. I had 10,000 behind, and Dan Shack moved in. And, the blinds are, 2-4 or 255, and it's only 20 big blinds or whatever. And but I know he has ace-king, aces, kings, queens, or jacks because he had 2 other people behind him. I thought it was ace-king, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try to avoid a coin flip, because I think I have a table where I can do it. I had some tight players on my left where I could raise the blinds once around and basically get away with it. And, and then I caught a few hands to get me up to like 24,000, and then I was back down to 12, and it just seemed like I was stuck. It could have been 10 hours I was stuck, never had more than 26,000. And I never had 33,000 in the whole tournament until the last level. I finally cracked 30 and got it all the way to 64.9. One key hand, a pretty good player who I respect, moved in on the button for 17,000. The blinds were 6 and 12, and I'm like, I have ace-jack in the small blind. My instincts are screaming, call, 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 call. The logic screams call, too, because he would have min-raised it with ace-king and looked for action, or ace-queen. I already know that. And I think if he had, 10s or above, he would have min-raised it as well. So ace-jack has to be good, unless he has 5s or 6s. And so I called him, and he had king-jack. And that was a big pot for me because we had 17,200 each in there, plus the big blind, plus all the antes. And, I don't have to win that. And, yeah, sure, I'm a big favorite. And so I was enormously relieved when it came, 5, 5, 10, jack, 10. And so I got to scoop that one. That was a key pot for me. Other than that, there was really no memorable pots. I think once I switched tables, the table was killing me because I had all these super aggressive kids on my right. And I knew when they were weak, but I decided not to play with them because they're crazy enough to move in anyway. So I just waited and waited and waited and waited. That was killing me all day. The first hand at the new table, I raised with 3s, flopped a set. Didn't win much. The second hand, I called a raise in the big blind with 7s. It came deuce, 4, 5. I bet out. The other guy, thank God, folded. Because if he puts any heat on, I'm going to muck that. And the third hand, I had 2 5s in the small blind. I raised The big blind called. It came deuce 4-9. I bet out 3K. He called. I knew I had him beat, but there was a 5 on the turn, and then no more betting. I checked going for the check raise, and then on the river, I bet 7,000. He folded. So to be dealt 3 hands finally after waiting all day was just really sweet at the new table. And then I had a new vibe because I showed those hands. The first hand after the last break, I had ace-king, and someone raised, and I just shipped 25,000 in there. And he folded, and of course I showed him ace-king. So, I'm really pleased.
You've accomplished so much in this great game. Is there anything left in the poker world that you want to achieve?
I mean, I came this close. There's 2 things that I really want. I want a World Poker Tour tournament. I figure that's going to come for sure. But I wanted to win the World Poker Tour Championship event, the 25K buy-in. That's up on my list. And the 50K horse is up on my list. And I had 17+ million in chips to Brian Rass, 2.4 million in chips. And so I'm this close to winning the horse bracelet, the Players' Championship, and all my friends are like, that would have capped your career. And so that one I really want, and just to get that close is just frankly depressing. And, I heard stories from my fans, people were hurting themselves after I finished. I mean, people were kicking stuff around the room. I mean, it's nice that I think that almost everybody in the poker world, 99.9% was pulling for me to win that after my 2 seconds. And so it just feels good that I think finally now the fans are starting to see that I'm not a bad guy. Maybe I'm a little too cocky sometimes. And so it feels good to kind of have everybody in my corner for once, for the first time in my life.
Well, we're certainly all in your corner here at railbirds.com, and we wish you the best of luck for day 3.
Man.